What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 12 of First Eps. We made it to a full dozen. Can you believe it?
As some would say, the dirty dozen.
The dirtiest dozen.
Yep.
This week, we watched Shadow and Bone, the brand new Netflix series, and we're going to chat all about it. So let's get into it. My name is Eric.
I'm Keith.
And this is First Eps. All right, let's talk about Shadow and Bone. We watched the new Netflix series, just came out the other day. All 8 episodes are out.
Yep.
It's a show. Before we talk deets, though, I want to hear about you. How's things over there in the big city?
Oh yeah, everything's great right now. Lovely week. Not too much actually happening over here.
Well,
yeah,
that's good.
What was going on? Yeah, no, I mean things have been pretty good over here. I wish I had more to tell you about that, but the big city's been pretty calm. We're slowly coming back down into real life, I think, again. So
yeah, it is.
Yeah, vaccines are in. We're moving along.
Things are happening. I like it.
Yeah. How about you? Anything else happening new this week?
No, same as usual. Watched it was a lot of great stuff on TV. We watched The Falcon, Invincible, watched the new Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh yeah.
It was a big weekend for nerd shit. And then played a bunch of that Predator game that I was talking about from last week.
Yeah.
Quality
Invincible.
stuff. But yeah, I was up way too late playing video games, both Friday and Saturday night. I think I said that same thing last week, but I didn't learn my lesson.
I think you should enjoy it. I mean, because now you've got a young son. When the daytime, your time is taken other ways. So if you have the energy and the stamina to play, go for it.
And then it's rough when I gotta get up at 7 the next morning.
You play till 3.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was good. It was a nice weekend. Can't wait.
You guys go anywhere?
Back to work? No, we don't go anywhere. We did. We We did some things. We went and got a nice breakfast sandwich and some coffee. The usual.
Yeah. No, that's fun.
But nothing really amazing, dude. Is the moments I live for are this right here,
podcast.
Right now, baby.
Woo.
Me and you talking Eps.
And talking Eps.
And talking about specifically the first one.
Yep. So let's think about this one then. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Do you want to give us a little bit of background about Shadow and Bone?
Sure. So Shadow and Bone is based on a novel by Leigh. Is it pronounced Leigh? Leigh Bardugo. Lee? Who knows? But it's a trilogy of books. I'm unfamiliar with it. Did you read it? You did?
No.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Sneaky. My wife, she read it, and the whole time, she was like, that's, when she's like, their hair's supposed to be blonde.
Like
one of those.
So when she was watching it, she was like, she had a certain point of view that she was taking into it.
Yes.
And it didn't always follow through the way she thought it was going to be. Okay.
Yeah. So I shut it down. I was like, listen, we got to chat about this on the podcast. I don't want to know these secrets.
Yeah.
But what she was saying is
blonde. Who's blonde?
I don't know.
There wasn't a blonde person on the entire show. I don't think.
Yeah. I don't think they have blondes in this world.
Yeah. Get out of here, blondes.
See you later. You're out there having fun somewhere.
California. Keep it moving, honey.
Oh, man. But yeah, she was saying that they basically have put 2 of the books together in one for this series, and that's when we see it jumping around. But so we'll get into some of the deets. So for anybody listening, minor spoilers for the first episode here, because we're going to talk about the characters and the story that we've seen so far. So if you haven't watched it, be aware. So it starts out with there's narration by the main woman, Alina.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's talking about the fold and how no one has crossed it.
Right.
And we don't really know what it is. She's just showing it on a map, which she's a cartographer. She makes maps.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. In the army or whatever. There's a war going on. So I will also preface this by I have no friggin' clue what's happening in this episode. Like,
I like how you went right to the camera. I
you
have
got
no clue.
We just got to be honest here.
Yeah.
It was a lot. There's a lot happening.
Yeah. I felt like I got a better handle on it towards the end of it.
Yes.
You
definitely, but there's a lot of different. So they travel to different places. It's based like the whole thing is like Russian like ideologies and currency and dress and stuff like that. They don't really explain that.
No. Yeah. They all looked like that one group from in Harry Potter, there was that one boys group, the boys school.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I thought of right away when they were like fighting and it looked like they're from that boys school, whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah. So we meet them. So far, there's really a couple main characters. There's probably two like big characters, Alina and Mel.
Okay. That's the guy, right? They're the ones who've known each other for a long time, we come to realize.
They were childhood friends or whatever, and now they're both in this army, which it seems like everybody's in the army. Like, I don't know what they're fighting or whatever, but...
Right. They said something about people from the north and people to the south, and they were trapped in between. I remember that, and that's why some people that were their friends were going to go some of the different ways, but then there was that conscript, whatever it is, when they told them who was going to cross the void.
Yeah.
And they were going west, and that was like the scariest way to go because there was like into nothing or certain death.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, sure. Nailed it. But so the parts for me that were the best. So this guy Mal, our introduction to him, he's in a fighting pit or whatever, and there's like he's boxing.
Yep.
And he beats the crap out of this one dude, and then this dude steps up and he's like, "You want a piece of this?" And he starts doing like magic with like sand.
Yeah. Peter Baelish comes out of nowhere and friggin' has a sandstorm flying around his face. And
and I was like, "Okay, all right, this is cool." Like I didn't know. I knew there was like magic type things in this. I didn't know it was going to be like people that had skills like magic powers.
Okay, yeah.
Now I immediately drew comparison to like the Nevers, which we just watched recently, where people also have magic powers. And that show, and I didn't realize it until watching this, is how simplified and dumbed down the Nevers is compared to this, where like we go point by point on the Nevers, like we're just moving along. And this one's just like a pot and everything's poured in it. And we just got to figure out what the hell we're eating.
Well, and it's funny you say that because my partner mentioned, and I think that it's very much true, is that we made that comparison too between the two, because they actually, when you watch both of them, if you do, you'll see that I think there is a lot of similarities between the two. Comparison in terms of time period too. It seems like this is also kind of vaguely based in a Edwardian, Victorian, but Russia era or something.
Yeah.
Is that the Nevers, I don't think is based on a book, whereas this is, so it has that whole world to kind of pull on and to jump into. And so the Nevers, though, is somebody's vision. Whether or not we see all the characters being fleshed out in the beginning and everything, like it's got a lot less to go on. So I don't know. That could be part of what the good and the bad of it, because we come into the world of the Nevers and we're fresh with them.
Yep.
But is it going to evolve past what we saw? Who knows? Whereas this one's got a ton, and we know it's going to evolve more because it's got to, because
it's huge. What's happening. Yeah, the scale immediately right off the bat is so much larger. It's so much grander than the Nevers, where it's like this small town. But this one, I mean, we travel all over the place and we see different walks of life. Basically, like at one point we go to Ketter Dam.
And
it's like a Vegas like thing where there's gambling and like vices and stuff all over. And that's where we meet some other guy,
the B team.
Yeah, so we meet the boss, some boss guy of like some like crew named Kaz.
Is that the guy with the limp and the cane?
Yeah, with the cane.
Okay,
he seems like a cool dude. Like
yeah. We don't really know much about him. He seems mysterious too. His whole group's kind of mysterious. We're not sure what's going on with them.
Yeah, he's got like a Brotherhood of Evil Mutants type situation going, or the Hellfire Club, maybe.
Exactly. They have a dark vibe, but I'm not sure that I don't know when we're going to talk about them, but yeah, very interesting to me. They seem like they've got more dimension than just.
Yes.
like
For
talking
sure.
about the Joss Whedon one we saw, whereas that one was definitely like it seemed like a dark brotherhood.
Yes.
The the woman that came in and the guy with the machine gun arm and the lady with the flames. This group had, I think it was like a woman who seemed like she could go into the shadows. She was kind of like maybe an assassin type, but we're not really sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't know much about them, but yeah, they definitely seem like really cool. They're like an Ocean's 11 type situation where they're trying to. They were propositioned to go through the fold, and they would get 1 million Kruger, and they're trying to. Their story has been about trying to like kind of figure this out, whether or not they want to do it or not. At one point, they had to bring a heart render.
Yeah, that was cool.
What was that person?
I actually looked it up afterwards to see more about it because I wasn't sure. But yeah, it as it was presented to us, it seemed like somebody who could help to kind of either facilitate people's emotional, like an empath to help people, feel things and to connect with them. But also, I guess they can also physically impact people too. So they can impact their physiology as well.
Okay.
So yeah, by like slowing down blood pressure or pulses
Just
and stuff
messing
like that.
with their heart.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I guess it's both spiritual and physiological. So interesting.
Yeah. So that was one of the types of power people. We also saw someone. So we saw the air magic. We saw people with fire magic at the beginning too.
Oh yeah, right.
And then this heart render. So yeah, so their group is trying to figure out how they could get through the fold. The other time, we're looking at the other two characters that are in the army, the Elena, the main girl, and what did I say his name was? Mal. And their army group, I don't know, it's not army. I don't know what the name for them was. I wasn't there was so much language, like because it's not existing words. When it's stuff that's been created for this world, it's hard to like pick. Like there was Grisha was like a big thing, and now those I believe are the people with the powers.
Yeah. We probably should look into this more too. Grisha. Dude,
we don't need to look into it. We're talking about the episode. We don't need to do research to reference this television show.
When I looked at
I draw the line.
I think Grisha is one of the different kind of powers. I think there's 3 different kinds of people with powers. And I think Grisha was one of them. I might be wrong about this. And that includes the heart seeker people. There's like a healer group, and there's somebody else. And then there's ones who work with elements, who is what we find out the people who do air and fire, they're all like element people. And then there's a third group who I think does technology or something. I don't know.
Oh, because they only ever reference like Grisha as like a whole. I never heard like.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong then. Okay.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I will find. We'll find out, or I'll just ask Liz. She could tell me. But so
I love this.
So we see the Mal and Elena. Their team needs to also go into the fold. They have to find passage through somehow. Now she kind of forces her way onto there because she wants to be with this dude.
Yep.
But she's the cartographer.
Oh, go ahead.
She's the cartographer. What is his job in the military? He's just
don't know.
Like a grunt.
I mean, it looked like they gave him a gun and they just said, like, you're a man now, boy. Get on that boat.
Gotcha. So now they have to go through the fold also. So she's got to go to chart, basically, to write these maps or whatever because they don't have any. And now, so then they get on this weird, like flying boat. Was it like on the land? I couldn't tell.
I didn't realize it was on the land until later on.
When the dude comes running through?
Yes. I'm like, wait, why is the ocean gone on this side? What happened to it?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I wasn't sure. I was like, yo, it's definitely on the land. And Liz is like, there's water there. I'm like, there's no water there. This is definitely land. Like, it was interesting. So that must be powered by, they kept talking about how this amazing boat or whatever. But I don't know, like the air people, like use like the air to push it through.
They're up there doing their thing in the darkness. Yeah.
That's how
and
they
then,
do
of
it.
course, they're in the dark, going through. Everybody's really scared and quiet.
Yeah, that was a big thing. They specifically said the lady said, "Don't turn on the lights."
I liked her. She's like, "Listen, people.
Yes, she's got green fire.
It's not very bright. What was it?
She's got cool green fire. I like.
Oh yeah. It's a blue light. It's not very bright, but it's all we got to get us through this. So let's go." And then, of course, we're in there about what, 20 minutes, a little longer.
Yeah.
Up, somebody lights up a lantern. All hell breaks loose.
All hell breaks loose. Then we see like all these monsters flying everywhere. Those are called the Volcra.
The Volcra. They're all the Volcra. Yeah.
And those are cool. So they're these flying beasts that just fly through and just grab everybody and take them away.
All Daenerys' dragons, all grown up at once, just flying.
Yeah. And then
the Nazgul.
So Elena is being attacked by one of these monsters. She just starts turning into this ball of like light. Like light is just bursting out of her. Well,
first of all, don't forget her friend got attacked too.
Yeah. She saved him.
And then she gets grabbed too. So it's almost like, is she falling in love? She's got to protect someone. We're not sure what's happening. And all of a sudden, when she's pushed to the brink.
Yeah.
Light behind me here.
And then that scene just ends. She just lights up the light, and then that scene ends. And then we see
Light up the night. What is that song you like by
the Proto Men?
Yes.
Great song. They should have played that through this.
I would have played that one right now.
Yes.
I was still doing the song thing.
Yeah, and I would play right now if we wouldn't get like a copyright claim like last time we tried that. Stupid YouTube.
We still got that cease and desist letter to clear up.
And then we see someone. I wrote down Notorovosok. That was like the place. I just put a bunch of words or a bunch of letters down because it started with an N and ended with a bunch of consonants. But and the person comes running out of the fold.
Ah, right.
And he gets
out of the inky blackness. There all these like military people are standing there in new, what is it again? Kitterdam or something, right?
This one's Notorodovskov.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yes. They came right up into that. Right.
So now he made it through. He came out the other side. Is that
he was the one who jumped overboard, and I guess he just started running during the chaos and made it.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was ridiculous when he jumped over. I'm like, oh, this guy's just committing suicide and jumping into the sea.
Yeah, just jumping. It's not even the water though. It's just dirt. He's gonna broke his neck.
So he was actually the smart one.
And also, like, how it can't be that wide then if he just came like running out the other side.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought it was a little odd too. I was like, how wide is this? Maybe they told us and I missed it, but
they showed it on the map, but I didn't see that little thing on the bottom for scale. Yeah, the legend. They didn't show that part.
No.
Like how many pennies across it is, or Kruger.
Mm-hmm. Is that what you used to do with pennies? Is that?
I don't know, dude.
Is that what they taught you in cartography classes?
Yeah. How many pennies is it? 12 pennies. So that guy comes running out.
Yeah.
And he gets captured. And
I was trying to figure out what actually happened there. So how does he get captured again? What happened? He came out. There are all like those military people around watching him run out. I would have thought that he would be safely in their hands, but then he gets caught by some underground guy. And I was trying to figure out how that happened. I must have missed that. Did you see that part?
No, they didn't really show it. I think this guy's maybe like higher up than we know. He's trying to get some information about this.
Okay.
And so he grabs this guy, and they have that's when the Hellfire Club guys come in, use the heart render to get information out of him. Figure out like what happened in the fold, like what happened to the ship, where did he come from, what went on inside there. No,
because he was shocked or whatever, or
he just didn't want to say. Like,
yeah.
And then we come to find out that yes, then it takes us to like kind of like a flashback as he's explaining it. We see it, and Alina, I don't know how to pronounce her name. She turns into this huge ball of light and just wipes out all the monsters. Like she kind of like exploded from her core.
Yeah.
And wiped out all the monsters. And then they said she's a sun summoner, which I thought was like
really cool.
So cool. Yeah, that would be my power. I would, if I could pick which powers. You could be a heart render. I'll be a sun summoner.
Okay with that. I mean, I do love light powers too. Like that is something I would really enjoy.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm fine with that. There seem to be enough in this world that I'd be happy with. So I will take, Yeah.
You would be the sun summoner. I would
No,
be
no,
like
no.
the air guy or the fire guy. You're right. And
You're really good at shooting off those rifles, I'm sure, too. Like, what's the name? Just,
poop. I get to shoot
grab your
the
wrists
point
and
out of
just
the
punch,
air.
punch, punch. Yeah,
So and then the guy named her
Yep.
to this group and said, and then
And they looked on the ledger or the list of the people on the boat to make sure. And yes, indeed, she was one of the people who was mentioned on the list. Oh, you're right. So maybe he is a high-ranking person. So maybe he has like a kind of a because he had the what's it called? The roster of who was on the ship.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So
what did they do?
They put a bullet in his friggin' head.
They did. That's how you know this guy was a badass.
Yeah, he's a bad dude. But then like the guys that we're not sure if they're bad or not, they didn't seem like they were approving of it. So that's how we know that they're not super bad.
Yeah. I think they work with anybody they can to get ahead, but they're not necessarily bad themselves.
Yeah, he wants that 1 million Krugs.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah,
and that guy's got like a dapper look to him, and that can't be cheap.
I don't know how much. I mean, well, this is a different world, a different time, but yeah, I don't know like what that equates to in real world monies.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, 1 million of anything is probably a lot.
$1 million
Krugers.
1 Krugers.
So yeah, that was the first episode. Now, so much more happened than we really talked about, but I don't know anybody's name. I don't know what it was, so we're not going to worry about it. Watch the show if this sounds interesting to you at all, and let us know what the heck that shit was.
It's really funny because I was like taking some notes in the beginning, and then I'm like, I'm gonna let Eric take notes for this one. I can't. There's too much happening right now. I just gotta watch.
Yeah. I took a bunch of notes from like key things that were happening, and I don't know what they mean. I wrote down Pecker Rollins. He's an Irish guy.
Okay.
He was, so if you really want to know, I remember now. He's the so the Hellfire Club guys, that dude Kaz, he's like the other guy that's trying to get this 1 million Kruger. They're both like battling for it.
Right.
I just thought that was a great name, Pecker Rollins.
Oh my god, yeah. Anybody with the name Pecker's gotta be cool.
Right? So yeah, there's a bunch of shit that I wrote down, but that's for another day. But yeah, so there's 8 episodes of this. This is the first one. So that's why they're packing so much in. I mean, I don't know how much they're planning out of the trilogy, how much they're planning on putting into this.
Yeah.
I'm imagining
there'll be more, right?
Yes.
I mean, another season.
Yeah, you can't fit it all in 8 episodes. But yeah, I'll have to ask my wife. She read the books and see like what, if she thinks there would be more, if they'd be able to get it in. Now, speaking of them like being based on books and what I want to talk about, are there any movies or television shows that you've read the book and you think that the movies or the shows are superior to the books?
Superior to the books.
Like I have a few that I always like, whenever this conversation comes up, they're
this
like
comes
my
up a lot for you
go-to
guys.
ones.
Okay.
It's all the time.
Okay, so a movie or a TV show that's based on a book, but the movie is better, or the TV show is better than the book. It seemed to connect to you more. Is that what you're?
Yeah, they're just a better quality overall. I mean, it's because it's rare. Like it's very, very rare. Normally, because you could fit so much more detail into a book, where it's hard to.
I feel like with the characters, to like see in your mind's eye.
Yeah, and also a lot of those times you get their inner monologue, whereas you're not getting that in a movie unless there's like some weird thought.
They break the third wall or whatever, or the fourth wall, whatever. Yeah.
You think about it, and in the meantime, I'm going to show the beer that I had for tonight.
Oh, okay.
Tonight we're drinking a Dew Claw Brewing Sour Me Unicorn Farts. It's a glittered sour ale brewed with fruity cereal and edible glitter. Let's see if the glitter shows up on here.
Yeah. You can see it, absolutely.
Oh, fancy.
And that is edible, right? You've had a little bit of it, and you haven't choked yet. So
my poop looks really cool.
Just glitter swirled poops.
Yeah, no, this
You'll
is
have to let us know when you fart, though, what's going to happen. That's
yeah,
the real test.
that's true. This is and this is pure silver.
Oh, that you're drinking.
Yeah, that's what it's made out of.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be rich.
Wow. Yeah, that's got to be worth at least 8 Kroger.
Yeah, 8 million Krugers.
Million.
All right, so you've had
about it.
3 minutes. What are your thoughts?
Okay,
Now,
so I have to confess, I don't.
I'll go first.
Okay.
You know, granted, so we'll say you read more like nonfiction books or like literature. You're not reading like the YA novels or this was based on a YA series.
Yeah. I didn't
Young
know
adult.
that it was based on a book. A lot of people have liked it though, from what I read about it.
Yes, and that's what led me to this. A lot of people that watched this show said this is as good as the book. So that's why I was like, there's only a handful of those for me. So one of them is like, so I love Elmore Leonard novels. He's like he's wrote so many books. He does. They're very, very character heavy books about like he's written westerns or like heist books or like it's like very, very focused on characters and dialogue and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He's amazing in it. So anyways, he did Get Shorty. Do you remember that movie?
I do. Yeah.
I always thought that was one of them. I loved the movie. I watched the movie recently. Doesn't hold up as well as I remember, but that was like always on my list. So maybe it doesn't qualify as much anymore. But another character I thought too, like he wrote a character named Raylan Givens in a series of things. Fire in the Hole was a short story he wrote, and a book called Pronto. And that character is the main character in a show called Justified.
Okay.
So I didn't read all of those works, so I can't say that one. So those are two that are up there, but I can't commit. But one based on an Elmore Leonard book that I will absolutely say the movie is better. He wrote a book called Rum Punch, and Quentin Tarantino, he turned that into a movie called Jackie Brown. And that movie is awesome. Now the book is great, but the movie has Quentin Tarantino's stylish touches, and he, the main character, he changed from a white woman and he put in Pam Grier as the main character. So like he just really added to it, and nothing that he did took away from the book. And that one, because Elmore Leonard's books are so heavy on dialogue, it transfers very well to the screen. Now there's so many other movies that were written by Elmore Leonard. But this was, I thought, the best one.
I think it's really funny because I was literally going to ask you about Quentin Tarantino because I know that you really do love his work too, and he's known for his dialogue. So when you were mentioning about this, I thought, I wonder if there's a connection. And lo and behold, there is a connection between the two. Yeah, it seems like a perfect translation. Nice.
Yeah, so that's one of them. Another one that I struggle with because I love the books, but the show, The Magicians, we talked about it the last week or 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was last week. About the books are so great, but they're trying to be more of like a Harry Potter type thing. The show took that and added so much more like life into the characters, like really, really fleshed out the characters where you like grow to love them so much because they're more silly. There's like I talked about the episodes where there's like a couple where they just like break out into song, and like those like really add so much like heart and soul into the characters that you love from the books, but now like they're growing so much because they have the actors did such a good job in that series to really like transcend the written page. So
that's so cool. Yeah,
those are two of mine.
Magicians is by who
Lev Grossman.
Lev Grossman, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I was trying to think. I honestly don't know. The only one I could think of is that I actually have not read the books for these, but I know they were based on books that were quite well received. But I did like the movies on them, and that would be The Hours. I thought that was a fantastic movie. I think it's Michael Cunningham wrote the book. But that was one that I really, really, and again, like you were saying, it's all about the characters and being drawn by that, and engaging with the. I guess it seems to me like, yeah, I've not read the book, so I can't say that how well it was translated in the written page. But
Yeah.
in the film, you still got into these people's inner workings and into their inner thoughts and connect with them. And I thought that that's one that I really did enjoy. And then I also like the Virgin Suicides a lot, which I know was also based on a book.
It's funny, like, have you thought ever about, like, since you love these movies so much, have you ever thought about going back to read the source material?
I have. I just haven't. I think because possibly now, because I like movies so much, I don't want to read the books.
Yeah.
Because the movies kind of stand alone for me.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. What about like Lord of the Rings? Did you read Lord of the Rings?
Oh yeah.
Did you? How do those movies? I've never read Lord of the Rings, the books, so I'm not certain. I just know that like people say those a lot as an example.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that the especially the long, what is it, the extended cut puts a lot of that into it. Yeah, no, those were fantastic movies. So I don't know if they're better than the books, though.
What about The Hobbit?
How about on par? The Hobbit. I mean, I don't know if that's better or not.
I've never read any of those, and the movies
like
weren't
The Hobbit
great.
that much anyway.
Yeah,
when I read that.
yeah. So two of my others then are Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
That was based on a Stephen King novella called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption.
Oh,
and
I had no idea.
Hayworth? Yeah, and that was in a small, like, it was in a collection of stories. Another, like, so that it also had The Body in there, which then became the movie Stand By Me, which is interesting that like two of Stephen King's short stories from the same book both became like really renowned movies. But yeah, Shawshank Redemption is such a good movie.
Yeah.
And being that like the book, the novella is so much smaller that, it really worked out in the movie's favor to be able to like really flesh this out. Now it was directed beautifully by Frank Darabont and then acted amazingly by everybody involved with Shawshank. So that really helped too, to, take it up that notch. And then for me, the most of all, like the thing that I thought was the better movie than the book was Fight Club.
Okay.
Directed by, David
Great
Fincher, directed the movie. Chuck Palahniuk did the book.
Okay.
And it was just, again, like so well directed and so well acted that it really just, the movie was way better in my opinion than the book on that one. And that's hard to, like, I know some people really hold that book in the highest regard, but like that movie was just so well done. And especially the way that, like, reading the book, I don't want to put any spoilers out there for Fight Club, the 20-year-old movie, but like the way that the book is written, you would never think they'd be able to pull it off as a movie, and they do a great job of it. So
it's fantastic. What about can I ask you real quick? I was you mentioned Stephen King and that jogged my memory. What about The Shining for you? Have you ever read that book? Because that movie was phenomenal. I've never read the book.
Yeah, and that is definitely one that like could go either way. Now the movie is so much different from the book.
Gotcha.
So it's definitely that one I never really include because it's so different. Like it's such a beautiful work done by Stanley Kubrick, but it's so different from the book that it's kind of like a separate thing altogether.
Gotcha. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. So now he's tried to have that redone more like according to the book on a couple of occasions, and it's just the Kubrick movie is just a classic. Like it's so great. Great. So there's a ton of King novels. I mean, so many of his shit was turned into movies that like
Tremors.
But
he did Tremors. I don't know.
He did Tremors 1 through 13. So, but even like Scott Pilgrim, the comics, like the book is so great, but the movie is so well done, but it's really just like a shot by shot, like remake of the books. Like it's crazy. So yeah, I have a lot on my list, but the 4 that I have are like the absolute ones that I would say hands down. I would not the other ones are debatable for sure, but these ones I definitely agree with. So yeah, if you guys have any that you think that the movie or TV show is better than the book, let us know. Leave a comment.
I need to be schooled, so let me know. Tell me some more.
Yeah, you need to stop reading books about nuns and get back to reading shitty comic books or Stephen King novels.
Yeah,
get with the program, dude.
I mean, what do I have here now? Yeah, I mean, I've got Curated America. And
classic.
Then
that would make a great book. Exactly. I mean, movie.
That's next to my bed right now. And then currently my microphone is resting on Nuns, A History of Convent Life. So yeah, I don't think either one of these is going to be a movie anytime
No,
soon.
Probably not. Maybe they'd be a good documentary series.
Oh my God, it'd be an amazing docuseries.
Yeah, we'll do the first step of Nuns and Convent Life when it airs on True TV or whatever the hell it would be on.
Yes, BBC presents.
Yes. Was it British nuns?
No. I mean, yeah, because well, I guess they could be. I don't think they are though, because Britain cast out the Catholics. But I guess
good point. Yeah. Good point.
It could be Episcopalian nuns, but they're not though.
Yeah. So
please, you haven't read your religious history in a while, have you? Everyone knows that.
Yeah. No, the only nun I'm familiar with is the Flying Nun.
Sally Fields, yes.
Mm-hmm. And only the first step of that.
I was gonna say, and that's a classic translation from a book, which was incredible, to a great
The Bible? Are you talking about the classic book, The Bible, that was then turned into the TV show Perfect Strangers?
Perfect Strangers. Yeah. And if Balky turned back to meatballs, he turned to dust.
Exactly. Yep.
He just kept on walking.
It's exactly
to America. That's how it actually started. A lot of people don't know that's the origin story of Perfect Strangers.
Yeah, it was definitely it was based on the Bible, and Balky just walked and he found the other guy. No one ever knows the other guy's name. I
want to say Larry, but I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I think it was Larry. I think it was. I think you're right.
Larry.
It was like Balky, Papadopoulos, and Larry.
Wait. I thought, that's Jessica Tsopoulos from Full House.
And then you think there was someone else like Papadopoulos was another character in another
Papadopoulos was someone else too? Okay. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about our rating for Shadow and Bone. For me, I would say not fully binge it, but just below that. I was a little bit like there was so much thrown at me that I was like, I need a break. Like right after I was done, I was like happy that it was done, because I was like, I need to like gather my thoughts and figure out what's going on. Like I did want to see what the heck was going to happen with this girl and stuff like that. So I'm very eager to watch the next one.
Yep.
But at the same time, like it was so like there was so much that I was like, all right, just put on something like dumb that let my brain like just take a seat for a second. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna say binge it for this one.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch another episode again. I found myself right after it.
Are you gonna jump right back in there now that we've recorded this?
I think we are, just because I wanted to see more about what was going to happen, like you said, and I was totally overwhelmed by it. I had only fake knowledge of everybody's name and everything, but you know what? I feel like sometimes it's just a path forward is the best way to do it, and to see what's going to unravel.
I think you're right, because it reminds me, like I was the same way. We talked about it before with like Game of Thrones, and watching that, and not having any clue who anybody was. But then, as you immerse yourself into it, you're like you start to just fully understand everything, and so I think that'll definitely help. I know Liz is very eager to watch more of it because, like I said, she read the whole series. So yeah, we'll probably jump in there this week and get going on some more. So hopefully it gets to be more. Not as like, story heavy, and like we were introduced to a lot. So I think from now, going forward, I think we've met most of the main players.
Yep.
And I think we just got to see what happens with their,
how they fall into place, and who's going to do what, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
I'm eager to check it out. So, all right. So that's it. Next week, remember, we've got our big end of season awards spectacular.
Woo.
Join us for that. It's going to be amazing. A lot of great awards, a lot of big prizes going out to all the nominees and award winners.
Mm-hmm.
And so come back for that. Make sure that you like us on anywhere you're listening, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or if you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Lots of cool stuff coming out. And go rate the podcast if you have the ability to do that. The more, the merrier. And trust me, you would love me if I'm Mary. So that being said,
they trust. I'm sure they trust. Yeah.
Let's close it up for the week.
Real quick before we say something
shut it
else.
Down. Let's shut this down. Shutting it down. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you next week back here on another episode of First Steps. Bye. This week, we were talking about the new Netflix series Shadow and Bone. We watched it, and we're going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we got to do
that was kind of a letdown there. I thought we were going to say something more than that, but we watched it.
All right,
and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, no shit.